Welcome back to JRG Guitars. Up today, one of the most iconic sounds in all of rock. We're talking about a tube screamer coming at you. So my next project here is going to be a hand-built effects pedal, and this is going to be a tube screamer clone that I bought from Stewmac as a kit. So it comes with the enclosure unpainted. I'll be painting that. It comes with all of our tiny little resistors and capacitors, little printed circuit boards, and of course your potentiometers and connectors and wire and knobs and all the little stuff you'd need. So this will be the next project, and we'll see how badly we can butcher this, because I love tiny little solder connections to make me extremely frustrated. So this will be quite fun indeed. So the first thing I did was I took my multimeter and got a reading on all of those resistors and laid them out so I knew which one was which. And then I started this soldering process, and you can see my little magnifying glass with my holder there, and you're just making tiny little solder connections from the back of the circuit board and letting that solder just gently flow through to make it a connection. So here I am pushing this diode through here. So I took the diode and bent the pins over to be in that U-shaped position. I push them through, get it set nicely, and then flip the board over and bend the pins apart, and now it holds it in place, and that will then allow me to make the solder connection. It was a learning process, a little trial and error to get it to go exactly how I wanted, but once I got it there and I've got my magnifying glass, you can see I heat up the connection, just touch the solder on there and let it flow gently. My first few solder connections were not as good, a little sloppy, but they did get better. Then you can see the circuit board here where it's really put together extremely clean. I was very happy with the progress to this point. And then the back of the board, you can see the connections, and then you'd snip the wire off to make it nice and neat. So here I am soldering in the potentiometers, and it was just the same process. I pushed them through from the other side of the board and then soldered from the back side of the connection. And then I'm soldering these wires here, which are going from the switch back to the main circuit board. Then I went in here, process of making this enclosure box. I wanted it to be smooth as could be, so I sanded it down with some 220, then hit it with some steel wool. Ready to accept primer. I like it. Hitting the enclosure and the back of the enclosure. I then took it back into the shop and hit it down with some steel wool again just to take the rough edges off, and then back out to hit it with a little bit more primer. And now this thing was really looking good and ready for my top coat. And of course, being a tube screamer, there's really only one color for me to choose, and that was green. So I hit it with this green color, and it really started to look nice. I ended up doing multiple coats just to really get a good foundation, and I really think it turned out quite well. Then back in the shop after multiple coats, I'm coming with my water slide decal here, and of course this tube screamer clone is going to be branded the JRG Screamer. So here are some shots of the inside of the closure, everything put together. Quite a clean project indeed, and then the face of the box with my decal branded on there, looking very nice indeed and ready to rock. Well, there it is, the Tube Screamer turned into the JRG Screamer. This thing was a real fun project to put together, as I had mentioned, and I think anyone could do it. Not a lot of cost involved to it, and it's a nice little addition to the pedal board if you were interested in a fun little project. So, again, thank you for tuning in to JRG Guitars. If you enjoyed this type of content, if you liked the video, please hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications. You know what to do. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot from JRG Guitars.
JRG Guitars!